Okay, everybody, so you have hopefully already glued down onto page 73 the pink paper and writing down what's different. And if you take a minute and you look and you see what is actually different here, hopefully you realize that these are set up so that they're both y equals equations. So what's going to make this guy harder is that when we go to undo these, there is going to be no multiplying of like terms, adding of like terms. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to undo one of those x terms from one side of the equal sign. And remember, what we do to one side of the equal sign, we have to do it to the other side, and then we'll balance. Hopefully these problems will look familiar to you from last year. If you need to write this down, go ahead and hit pause, write this down, and then we're going to look at those three problems on the pink paper. Okay, so when we look at this problem here, notice that they're both starting off with y equals. You know that y is both of these. So we're going to take one of these guys and basically put it into the other y. So the substitution step here looks different. I'm not going to have any multiplication or parentheses to substitute it into. It's going to look set up like this. So we have our equal sign here, and I do have like terms, except that they're separated from each other. They're on opposite sides. So I need to undo one of these, and it doesn't matter which one you want to undo. I'm going to undo this guy here because I can see I'm adding 5x. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. And what I do to this side, I have to do this to this side. So over here, these do cancel, and I'm left with 20 equals, but now I have like terms. Now I can add these guys together and get that 1x and then minus 48 equals 20. And hopefully at this point, you're like, I've got this. I'm home free, because now I can see it's a two-step problem where I have to go through and just finish this problem out by adding 48 both sides. So I get 1x equals 68, and divide both sides by 1. We get that x equals 68 that we had. Now, you know we're not done yet. You know that once I have this guy here, I do have to take this guy and substitute it back up into one of these other problems. But at this point, really go with whatever one looks easiest to you. So if you want to do this problem, the one that we had circled, you'd be doing 6 times 68 and then minus 48 for your problem there. And so whenever you do this 6 times 68, go ahead, get out your calculators if you need to, no biggie. 6 times 68 gives us 408. And then we subtract that 48 from us to give us that final answer of 360. You would take 10 seconds, hopefully, let me change colors. Let's take 10 seconds here and actually plug it into this guy as well and say, well, what if I did the 68 in this other equation and did 20 times 5 times 68? Well, 5 times 68 is going to give us 340. And then add in that 20, again, I get that 360. So again, you have that match there to know that the final answer is 68, 360. Okay, so it is almost a little bit easier. A lot of people say, why is this spicy? There's not much more to do here. And it's just that it's spicy because the setup is different. You have to pay attention a little bit better to that. Okay, let's try another one of these. Okay, if we check this guy out, again, I'm going to keep change. So when I see keep change here, I'm going to change this to addition, but I need to throw a 1 in here on this guy. So this guy is a little bit harder because it has the keep change, and I have to put the 1 in to have it change, and keep change on that guy here, so that I have something to actually go through and do. So now again, when I go through and I do my substitution step here, I'm going to have negative 5 plus a negative 1x equals 21 plus a negative 3x. Again, line straight down the middle, and it doesn't matter which one of these that you want to undo. I'm going to start on this side this time. Right now, I am adding a negative 1x. Remember, to undo an adding of a negative 1, that'd be minus a negative 1x, which again is the same as just plus 1x. So you could go straight to that plus 1x. These are the same steps here. So this is going to cancel. I'm left with the negative 5 equals 21. Now again here, do my like terms here. A negative 3 plus a 1x would give me a negative 2x. And now I'm set to go through and do my regular undo steps. Subtracting that 21 from both sides. So I get negative 26 equals the negative 2x. And then divide both sides by that negative 2. And you would get x equals 13 at that point. Okay. Now again, once you have that x is 13, come back up to either one of these. Heck, even go to both of them to verify you get the same answer. If I go to that first equation, I'd have negative 5 plus a negative 1 times 13. -1 times 13 is -13 plus that -5. So I get -18 as my final answer. But if I go through and plug it into this guy, I would have 21 plus -3 again times 13. -3 times 13 is -39 plus 21. Get out your calculators and check that. You get -18 again. So I get the same answer in both of them. I like these ones. Even though they're spicy, it's really easy to go through and verify that you have the right answer pretty quickly because you're just taking that x and plugging it back into both your top and bottom equations. Okay, let's check out that last one. On this last one here, I have again the 2y equals equations. Again, you don't have to keep change this one because that minus sign is after the x. So if I go through and I do my substitution step here, and you might be looking, well, it's not that much harder, Mrs. Leptak, because it is, there's not much going on here with this -5x. My only word of caution here is that you're right. There's nothing being added or subtracted over here with this -5x. So I would actually undo this 2x. And I undo this 2x by subtracting 2x. Remember, this minus sign actually belongs to the 42, right? If I keep change it, it's actually showing me it's a -42. So I'm actually going to subtract 2x from both sides. I don't want to move this 5x because I don't want it to end up with like a 0 on this side here. Move that 2x by undoing it. So I end up with a -42 equals -7x, and then divide both sides by -7. So I get x equals 6. And again, take all of 10 seconds to go back and plug it in. Obviously, this guy is the easier one to plug in. -5 times 6 would give me 30. But let's also verify it in this guy here. 2 times 6 and then minus 42. That would be 12 minus 42, which again would give me -30. And ooh, Mrs. Leptak, I didn't make that guy negative there. So good, I have two -30s for my two answers. So final answer is 6, -30 for my final answers.